dark side throwing the force out of balance, to the Fellowship cracking under pressure, to Fred and George Weasley turning Hogwarts into a fireworks free-for-all. Chaos is everywhere in the realms. So grab your second breakfast, hold on to your wand, and try not to knock anything over. Let's wrangle a little chaos together.
Here we are at Second Breakfast, where we like to do a little bit more of a deep dive into some ideas that we find a little bit more intriguing within our fandoms. One of the main components of storytelling is conflict, and chaos is one form that could throw our protagonists into a mess that they need to get out of. Chaos, by definition, is a state of utter confusion or disorder, a total lack of organization or order. When thinking of chaos, I initially came to think of how valuable it is to the idea of storytelling. Jaime Lannister takes Ned Stark's head. Emperor Palpatine executes Order 66. The Dark Mark appears at the Quidditch World Cup. Or, my favorite Hobbit gets a little too handsy with his surroundings. These are all examples of chaos in our favorite realms that expand the story. So I want to start off with a simple question, Kat. Is chaos essential?
Honestly, it's one of two most essential concepts. We've had our chats about balance, and chaos is half of the equation. In nearly all aspects of life, there are two sides. There's light and dark. There's good and evil. The yin and yang of our reality will always be existent. So through this lens, we may look at chaos and think disorder must be dealt with and in a sense fixed. But I think we might be missing the point that disorder is necessary to see what order looks like. So if we could see the disorder for what it is, we can flip the narrative and discover what is needed to achieve balance.
Yeah, I agree. And kind of with that, with your kind of yin and yang comparison, I kind of find that chaos promotes change in either direction, but a lot of the times you're kind of trying to get out of your chaotic state, which promotes positive change within the story, within your own realities in real life. So totally agree with you on that one.
I always think of it like a pendulum. You know, you've got that center point. When chaos swings one way, it's inevitably going to come back and swing the other way. So when you're in that mode of discomfort because what's going on, the chaos, the disorder around you, it's always helpful to remember that it's going to swing back, and you might actually see an equal leverage on the other side to order. And it's only a positive outlook, really.
Yep. And it is it's challenging to be in that state of discomfort, as you said, because it just kind of feels like you're at the bottom of a hole and you're like, how am I going to get out of this? This is terrifying. This is icky feeling. I'm never going to get through this. And then inevitably we do.
Mm-hmm.
There's always a way out.
You know what to do in that situation?
What?
Be the Force Daddy.
Be the Force Daddy. Be the balance that holds the tension between the two.
Absolutely. I know it's very hard being in that state. And you kind of have those feelings of hopelessness or frustration or anger or all of these uncomfortable feelings, but it is going to flip, and your mindset has that power to do so, unlocking it. And I really do think it does just show you what's needed in your life. If you can observe the chaos around you, what is chaotic to you in that time, you might be able to try to figure out the opposite of that and establish a little bit more order, a little bit more organization, and only positives will come from that.
Yeah, you're right. It is all about your mindset, and it's hard. Like, it really is hard. But that's all, not all, but it's what it takes to pull yourself out of it, is just reminding yourself of the good things that can happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, another thing I'd like to know, Kat, is for you personally, which realm do you find to be the most chaotic?
I loved thinking about this episode, and I loved visiting each realm in my mind, trying to find the chaos in all of it. A lot of it was pretty apparent, and the dark side, Voldemort, all these things happening. But I stayed in my mind in Middle Earth for so long, pondering all the ways that chaos has inflicted it. And I wouldn't say it's the most chaotic per se, but only because in the Kindred Nerd realm, we've talked about balance and we've talked about fellowship. And to me, one of the biggest elements in of chaos in The Lord of the Rings is the disintegration of community. The King of Rohan has been enchanted. Elves, dwarves, men, all are disconnected from one another. Literally, the whole world is in a state of corruption and despair, except for the Shire. And sure enough, it was a hobbit chosen by Gandalf to embark on the quest of destroying the ring. So it made me think, what is it about hobbits? What do they have or what do they do that makes them immune to this chaos of the world? And I think it's because they live in an environment built on routine and order in the simplest possible terms. Their scope of life is way smaller than the worlds of dwarves and elves and men. And they're focused on, their 7 meals a day. How many pints can they drink? And they stay close to home and love getting plenty of rest.
I love that line of thinking that you have there. And to kind of jump onto that, another thing about the halflings is that they spend so much time outdoors. And we know how calming and relaxing and regulating that the outdoors can be, which I think speaks a lot about how hobbits are and why they're such a peaceful being. But also along with that, you also have that there is the order of the outdoors, right? Everything kind of has its own tiers and it functions in a specific way. And I think the hobbit lifestyle really pertains to that in maintaining the peace.
Yeah, that's a good thought. It's just very interesting. It just seems like such a, back to that pendulum. I feel like an elf would have a pendulum that's like up, 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 high, and then back. But like a hobbit's pendulum, the chaos would be so minimal. So it just swings so close to the center of gravity. And maybe that center, well, it's the balance, right? They are just more easily able to ground themselves, maybe. But furthermore, I find the thought even more intriguing when you add in that the answer to wrangling the chaos in the story comes from forming a fellowship with a member of all the different societies in the world. So the scale of chaos lives within the fellowship on a new level. You have the scale of chaos represented in each member and what they bring, and it kind of builds a platter of balance to tackle this endeavor.
Yeah, I like that. I think it also just goes to show that, at least within Middle Earth, you can't do it alone. Frodo can't manage the chaos of the One Ring on his own. He needs his Sam. He needs to rely on the populace of Middle Earth to get there. Chaos can be managed.
Absolutely. I 100% act first and think later. very Pippin. Very Pippin. It gets me into trouble fairly frequently, but it's truly against my brain wiring to be naturally orderly. So I do find when I implement routines, I function much better. But the real struggle is keeping that routine because it doesn't take much to destabilize me, which makes it harder to put out that consistent motivation day after day. Okay, so I am someone who likes to find patterns that are seemingly very prominent in certain areas of life, but reflected in a completely different area as well. So, for example, the solar system and the structure of an atom. They both have a central nucleus, if you will, with items circling around it. So I heard this science tidbit, which is the second law of thermodynamics, entropy. And basically what that says is that everything drifts towards disorder unless active intention is put on to that momentum. Chaos is always lurking. It can pop up at any moment. But if you put active intention to keep it at bay, then you're succeeding in finding that balance. And that could go, I think this second law of thermodynamics really does apply to all areas of life and not just thermodynamics. So even if, like me, I struggle with the routine aspect, but every time I put more intention, more specific intention, planning out my meals, planning out my days, making sure I time block for tasks that are of priority. If I put intention into making that schedule, that routine, it becomes way easier for me. But the minute I stop is when that routine falls apart. I think about it all the time. I think about it in like every situation. Like, how is this chaotic? It is drifting towards this. How can you put intention to rectify this situation, this disorder? Mm-hmm. And once again, not rectify, you're not going to fix it, but counteract, if you will.
Yeah, it's a good way of thinking about it because you'll never eliminate chaos. It's always going to be present.
I like to embrace chaos. And I know you know that. I'm just like, yeah, let's fuck around and see how it goes.
Yep, but that's okay. Yin and yang.
Yin and yang. I love it. What about you, Claire? What realm spoke to you?
Right off the bat, all realms have a little bit of chaos sprinkled in there. But right off the bat, my brain went immediately to this book. Thrawn Ascendancy, Book 1, Chaos Rising. So what I loved about the fact that it's named after this is it speaks to the story in a few different ways. There's some prophetic hidden meanings within it. So this book is by Timothy Zahn. It is a canon story. And I don't find it to be just a play on words. It's also a slight indication of where the location of Thrawn's species are. So another definition of chaos was the infinity of space or formless matter supposed to have preceded the existence of the ordered universe. So, pre-life, but what really drew me to this definition specifically was the connection to space and the galaxy. So, Thrawn is a Chiss species, which hails from the unknown regions, which is known for being challenging to navigate because it's got supernova and black holes and any type of gravity pulling things in each direction. Only Chiss with a certain inherited skill are able to navigate the unknown regions, which to the natives of the unknown regions is called the chaos.
Ooh.
So my brain immediately went there. And just knowing the story and how it goes, Chaos Rising was the perfect title for it because it's the first book of conflict. So, and pushing the story of conflict within the Chiss Ascendancy. So for me, this story was one of the more chaotic ones in the best way possible. So that's where my brain went. You know, I love me my Thrawn. I wore my Thrawn shirt for today's episode because I was just so excited. So yeah, that's where I am.
I love that it's called chaos. The skill set that they inherit, or not inherit, but develop, or is it an inherited trait or developed?
Born with, yeah. Okay. So it's like,
wow, that's so
not
cool.
Everybody has this skill to be able to navigate the chaos.
That's so cool. Because also, if you think of Thrawn as a character, so orderly and so organized. He's my new role model for living life.
Yeah.
Embrace the chaos.
Yeah, he's so badass. I love it.
That's so interesting. Once you started telling us about the location where they come from, that sounds chaotic as it is. It's like the chaotic region of the galaxy, right? So somebody that comes from that chaos, born with the chaos. That's dope.
Yeah.
I can't wait for you to deep dive into more Thrawn stuff.
I know. It would be so good. So, yeah, that's where I am with my favorite realm in chaos. Star Wars, the galaxy far, far away.
Wonderful. I love it. It's everywhere, like you said.
Absolutely. I did notice that you had mentioned that you were quite Pippin-like. How would you feel about zipping over to play a game called Merry or Pippin?
I would be ecstatic. Let's do it.
Pippin! But the only food for the brave and true comes from the Green Dragon.
Welcome to Merry or Pippin. In this segment, we like to chat about which character might fit into any given situation or topic. Today's episode is all about chaos. What better segment to have than Merry or Pippin? Arguably two of the most chaotic characters in all of the realms, but slight differences between the two, which can pull out their own strengths or weaknesses in any given topic or situation. Claire, who do you think would be a better dungeon master?
It's funny. I would go with Merry.
Okay.
I would say Merry because I just think Pippin makes so many rash decisions. So I think Merry might be able to take that on. Pippin's the kind of character that would kill off a main character within the Dungeons and Dragons story, and then Merry would have to figure it out. That's just what I would like. See, I can also see in the topic of chaos Pippin being the other way around, but I'm gonna go with Merry. It's tricky because I see both, but I think Merry has more of the organization to be able to be a dungeon master.
He is chaotic, but in a planned out sort of way. Like he thinks about it and he says, yeah, let's do it. Pippin doesn't think about it. He just does it.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I was going to say Merry as well for that same reason. For fun, I'll make the argument of Pippin. Because what if he just comes up with some random stuff and it just really works out and you have no idea because he has no idea what's going to happen. And it works. You know, we've had that discussion before that Pippin is very essential for the story, for the success of the Fellowship. Even with his clumsy mistakes, everything worked out with how it should have worked out. We've got our answer. Mary would probably be a better DM. Only slightly.
Yeah, and
actually, no, I want both.
I think that's kind of also humorous that it's like DM, Dom Monahan, Dungeon Master. So I feel like it's just written in the stars there that Mary would be a better Dungeon Master. Well, what do I know? It's all about our opinions.
It's true. It's very true. On the same note, who do you think would handle chaos better when it actually hits between the two?
I'm going to go with Mary again.
Okay.
I mean, he helped Éowyn kill the Witch King of Angmar, so it's like he handled chaos, and he was hurt. Was he not like hobbling his way over?
Yeah.
And then like Pippin at Minas Tirith is just like weaving his way in and out of people trying to find Gandalf, and I don't know. I think Mary would handle chaos a little bit better.
Yeah, I think so too. He rose to the occasion when chaos was at his door, and he put that active intention into fighting the disorder. Pippin finds chaos.
Makes chaos.
But he makes chaos. But he also didn't really know how to put that active intention into it either.
Yeah.
So I found he kind of was succumbed to fear and succumbed to a little bit of hopelessness. He had that big conversation with Gandalf about what hope is there. And yeah, I'd say Mary as well.
It's nice when our opinions line up sometimes. But it's also fun when they don't.
It's true. I have one more question for you.
Okay.
Do you want to roll for random?
Absolutely, I do. Okay. Kat, are you ready to roll for random? It is your turn to roll.
I got the die today.
Let's do it.
13.
13. D&D and fantasy fun. So it's not just D&D. If you could bring one magic item into the real world, what would it be?
Ooh. I mean, off the top of my head is a wand, because you can complete so much with that.
Yeah?
Like the Elder Wand.
You really want the Elder Wand? People are going to come after you for it.
True. I mean, the invisibility cloak would be super cool too. But,
yeah.
I guess, is this D&D centered, or is it any magic item?
Nope, anything.
Okay. Probably a wand. Ooh, staff. Staff is cooler than a wand. It's like an upgraded wand.
Yeah, I like that.
Staff. Let's go with staff.
Cool.
What about you?
I'm going to go a little bit of the opposite direction as you. You know, Hermione's little pouch that can like fit as much stuff as you want into it, or like a bag of holding from D&D. I would just say like a bag that's infinite room for things. Yeah, I think that would just make life so easy.
Right? Or in Fantastic Beasts, his briefcase.
Yeah.
Same idea. Love it.
Magical bag to hold all my stuff.
I like his briefcase too, because like you can step into it and disappear.
Yeah. So
that's cool.
Yeah. I
love it.
Great roll for random question. My goodness, what a busy episode, packed full of chaotic goodness. We discussed how chaos throws our heroes into their stories, and even some fun ones that make for character development. Kat, you bringing up physics not only brought real-life application to the idea, but also made me think that chaos promotes change. What would you say is your favorite conversation from the episode?
You know what? It's going to be Thrawn. I really loved your tidbits. I didn't know that about him. I know you're obsessed with Thrawn and you're a walking encyclopedia when it comes to him, but I just love how it tied everything in, and it gave me a new angle to look from, especially in Star Wars. Yeah, super cool fact, and loved hearing it.
It's always fun to learn new things, right?
It is. We have these discussions in the other realms and what we know, because we do know a lot, but learning something new, it's just a little fresh. I like it. What about you?
It was your physics.
Yay.
Yeah. It shows that chaos is rooted in reality. Yeah. And it's not just for storytelling. It's for life. So
it is for life. I think if more people embrace chaos, there'd be a lot happier people. It's easier to embrace something, some discomfort, when you're aware of what's going on. It's being the Force Daddy. Just saying.
Absolutely. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. If you want to get more Kindred Nerd goodness, follow us on Instagram at The Kindred Nerds, and you can find us on YouTube or Spotify. If you want to get to know Kat and I a little bit better, you can follow us on our Kindred Nerds accounts, Kindred Nerd Kat and Kindred Nerd Claire. Thank you for joining us, and we can't wait to party with you again.
Bye!